Welcome to Physics for Everyone classes. This is your Satish sir. In the last video, we have started JEE Mains 2020 September 2nd Phase 2 paper discussion. So far, we have completed a few questions in the last video. So let us try to solve the remaining questions in this video. We have the question on the board, which is from the chapter Electrostatics. Let us have a look of the question. A charge Q is distributed on two concentric shells of a radius smaller and capital R respectively. If a charge density is same for both the spheres, then the potential at the common center. We need to find here the potential at the common center of the two shells. So let us draw the diagram to understand the question in detail. Here we have got two spheres, or we can call it as shells also, like this. This is the inner sphere surrounded by the outer sphere. The inner one has a radius smaller and outer one has a radius capital R given in the question. So for this system, we are giving a charge capital Q. And one more point mentioned there, both the spheres have the same surface charge density, which means both the spheres doesn't have the same charge on their surfaces. Let us take on the inner sphere the charge is Q1 and outer sphere the charge is Q2, which means the total charge of the system is being distributed Q1 on the inner sphere and Q2 on the outer sphere. So you can write Q is equal to Q1 plus Q2, equation 1. The second relation we can use, which is given in the question, which is both the spheres has the same surface charge density, means sigma 1 is equal to sigma 2. So what is surface charge density? The Q1 charge exists on the surface, but covering the surface area, which is equal to 4 pi r square. So you can write sigma 1 is equal to Q1 upon 4 pi into r square. So charge per unit area is called as surface charge density. For the inner sphere, the surface charge density is Q1 upon 4 pi r square. Similarly, the surface charge density for the outer sphere is charge per its unit area. So which is Q2 upon 4 pi into capital R square. So with this you will get the ratio of the two charges like this. Q1 by Q2 is equal to small r by capital R whole square. Let it be taken equation 2. So with these two equations, we can find the potential at the geometrical center of both the spheres with this formula. V is equal to K into Q1 by smaller plus K into Q2 divided by capital R. You see here, where V is the potential at the common center of both the spheres. How much? At this point, due to charge Q1, the potential is KQ1 by smaller. At the same point, due to the charge Q2, the potential is K into Q2 by R. As you know, how much is the potential on the surface? You will get the same potential inside the spherical charged shell. So with this we can write the equation for the potential. But the answer is being given in terms of total charge and the smaller and capital R, which means we need to eliminate Q1 and Q2 from this equation with the help of these two equations. How? Let us see. Where Q1, the charge is proportional to square of the radius. You can see here, Q1 by Qd is R by R whole square, which means that the charge is proportional to the square of the radius of the shell. So in this case, if you solve these two equations, you will get Q1 is equal to, I am writing directly, Q1 is equal to R square by R square plus R square into capital Q, and similarly Q2 is equal to, so whose radius is capital R, so you take it as capital R square divided by capital R square plus small r square into capital Q. By taking these two equations here in this expression, you will get the result. So substitute Q1, Q2 in this equation. What is common? You can take K common outside. Write Q1 as this entire expression, which is Q into small r square divided by capital R square plus small r square into 1 by R. You can see 1 by R plus Q2 is capital R square divided by capital R square plus small r square into Q into 1 by capital R. And what is common there, you can take outside. You can see capital Q is common in both the terms, and denominator capital R square plus R square is also common. Then taking these two outside, you will get KQ divided by capital R square plus small r square into, so what left here, 1 r is cancelled out, then you will get small r. In the second term, this r and this r will get cancelled, you will get the capital R. So look at the answer you got. Potential at the common center for both the spheres is KQ divided by capital R square plus small r square into small r square plus capital R. So this is the result for this question. Then we have the question from the chapter surface tension. So this is also very easy question in this exam. Let us see the question. A capillary tube of radius 0.15 millimeter is dipped in a liquid of density rho, which is equal to 667 kg per meter cube. With T, surface tension of the liquid is 1 by 20 Newton per meter and angle of contact given 60 degree. Find the height of liquid rises. So this is a straight the forward question. We can get the answer by using the formula, the surface tension formula, which is you can write T is equal to HR dg by 2 into cos theta. From this we need to find the height of rise of the liquid, which means H value. So write down. From this we can write H is equal to 2T cos theta divided by R into D into G. What is T here? Surface tension given in SI system. Cos theta angle is given 60. You know, cos 60 is 1 by 2. R radius is given in millimeter, converted into meters. Density in SI system given. G you can take it as 10 meter per second square. So take all the values. 2 into surface tension is 1 by 20. You can write this as 0.05. So 1 by 20 is 0.05 into cos 60. The value is 1 by 2 divided by radius 0.15 millimeter. So how much? 1 milli 10 power minus 3. So you will get 0.15 into 10 power minus 3 into the density is given as 667. You can write this 2 is also down into 2 into gravity is 10. So if you solve this equation, you can see 2 get cancelled out, 0.05, 0.15. You can write it as 5 by 50. So this one will cut here 3 times. That is equal to, if you see 10 power minus 3 into 10, 10 power minus 2. So you can write 1 divided by, so 3 into 6.67. You see 10 power minus 3 into 10, 10 power minus 2. So 10 power minus 2 into 667, you can take it as 6.67. Or else, we can take this as 1 divided by 3 into 6.7. So in exam calculations, be very important. If you look at the options, somehow we can get the nearer answer. If you see 6.7 into 3, 6 3s are 18, 0.7 into 3, 21. Means you can write in this way, 18.0 and 7 3s are 21, 2.1. It comes as 20.1. So that is equal to 1 divided by 20.1. So what is 1 by 20? Nearly it comes as again 0.05. So the answer comes as 0.05 meters. So how simple the question is. So these kind of questions you're getting in mains exam also. So don't afraid of the exam. So what you have studied with that, only all the questions are they are making. Some are easy, some are moderate, and some are being difficult. So then we have the next question from the chapter Simple Harmonic Motion. Let us see. Displacement time graph of a particle performing SHM as shown. The graph is given here between the parameters displacement and time. And they're given 4 options A, B, C, D. Actually, these are not options. The 4 statements are given. Statement A, no force acting on particulate T is equal to T by 4. Statement A. Statement B, the speed of the particle is maximum at 3T by 4. And statement C, acceleration is maximum at T is equal to T by 4. And D, kinetic energy and potential energy is maximum at T is equal to T by 8. Out of 4 statements, which statements are correct? They are asking in the question. Let us see one by one. So the same graph, if I am taking here, the particle at T is equal to 0, starting from the extreme position. There you can see. And here is the mean position. About the mean position, the particle is performing simple harmonic motion. At this point, the displacement is maximum. We can take it as x is equal to a, where a is the maximum displacement called amplitude on the right side. Left side we can take x is equal to minus a. Where time t is equal to 0, the particle is at right extreme position. So from here, the particle is starting towards main position. So this is the time where the particle starts. So you can take it as t is equal to 0. At the time t by 4, the particle reaches the main position. You can see this particle is moving towards the main position and reaches the main position at a time t by 4 seconds. After that, it will continue to move towards the left extreme position. You can take here, the time is how much? T by 2. So once the particle reaches left extreme, where the velocity becomes 0, but still the force is acting towards the main position, with that the particle will reversing its direction in this manner. And when it reaches again the mean position, the time taken is 3t by 4. And it will continue to move and reaches the initial position at a time capital T. You see, for one complete oscillation, the time taken is called as time period, which is taken as capital T. Now, with the time, we can easily find the parameters like speed, acceleration, force, all these things. Let us take statement A. No force acting on the particle at t by 4. Now tell me at t by 4 the particle is at mean position. So at the mean position, the acceleration acting on the particle is 0, because we know A, which is proportional to negative of displacement, the standard form of simple harmonic motion. Or you can write it as A is equal to minus omega square x. At t by 4, displacement is 0, so acceleration is also 0. So you can write at t is equal to t by 4, which implies displacement is 0, that implies acceleration is 0, and therefore the force acting on the particle is 0. Means no force acting on the particle at t is equal to t by 4 is the correct statement. Take this one. You got the first one? So next move to the second statement, which is the speed of the particle is maximum at 3t by 4. So at time 3t by 4, where is the particle? Here. Again it is at the mean position. So at the mean position, the speed of the particle is maximum, which is true because the general expression speed is given as v is equal to omega into under root a square minus x square. So at mean position x is equal to 0, which implies you will get v max is equal to omega into a. So this is also a true statement. So B is also correct. Now coming to the third one, acceleration is maximum at t by 4. You see here, at t by 4, the particle is at mean position. At mean position, displacement is 0, force is 0, acceleration is 0. But saying acceleration is maximum. So this is a false statement. Now kinetic energy and potential energy is maximum at this time. We need to prove these two are equal at this time. So let us find the last statement. So what it is given? Kinetic energy and potential energy is maximum at t is equal to t by 8. Actually, it is not maximum. They are asking it is equal. They are equal at a time t is equal to t by 8. So just you take both the equations and equate it. So kinetic energy is equal to potential energy. So what is the expression for kinetic energy? Yes, half k into a square minus x square, which is equal to expression for potential energy, half k into x square. Here half k get cancelled. If you solve this one, a square, which is equal to 2 into x square, then x square is equal to a square by 2, or we can write it as x is equal to plus or minus a by root 2. So at displacement either plus or minus a by root 2, these two quantities are equal, but given in terms of time. So we have the displacement equation here in this case. As the particle is starting from extreme position, you can write x is equal to a cos omega t. Starting from mean position, it is x is equal to a sin omega t. If you add 90 degree the phase 90 degree, then you will get the equation a sine omega t plus 90, nothing but a cos omega t, as the particles starting from the extreme position. Now you take x is equal to a by root 2 in this equation. Right here, a by root 2 is equal to a into cos omega t. A get cancelled. 1 by root 2, which means cos 45. So which implies cos 45, that is equal to cos omega t. So then we can cut the cos terms on both the sides. Finally, we are having omega t is equal to 45. In radians, we can write pi by 4. And t is equal to pi by 4 into 1 by omega. Nothing but 2 pi by capital T. So t by 2 pi, pi get cancelled. We are getting t by 8. Yes. At the time t is equal to t by 8, we got the answer. Kinetic energy and potential energy, they are equal. Or at x is equal to a by root 2, these two quantities are equal in magnitude. So statement D is also correct. So out of 4 statements, we got the answer A, B and D are correct statements and C is the wrong statement.